boy off. This is Dave Sharp coming to you live today. Let me put in my headphones here. A little bit of a different scenario. A lot of you guys know that I just had a baby, and so I'm coming to you live from a room in my house here, which isn't always the case, but it is today. And so today, what we're going to talk about, I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a perspective from my experience of how to build and develop leaders, right? Because so many times we get into network marketing and we get into team building, and it's like, how do I really reach extreme levels of growth, of extreme levels of income? And the way that you do that is not actually by going out and trying to be a production monster. The way that you do that is actually by going out, and hopefully you guys can hear me coming in on the live stream. The way that you do that is by going and really learning how to develop leaders on your team. And there's a difference between somebody who develops leaders and sees explosive growth in results in their organization, and somebody who just continues to grind month after month, year after year, struggling and wondering what the secret is because they can't produce the individual numbers that they think that they need to be able to get wealthy in network marketing. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to dispel that myth for you today. I'm going to show you and give you a format for you to begin to connect with people in your team and to begin to develop those leaders. And I'm going to give you some stuff based on my experience and based on some of the things that I do currently in my business. I've got one of these scheduled today at 4:30, I think. So I'll show you what I do, and I'll kind of talk you through and explain to you my mindset about how to reach out to people in my team and how to actually build a relationship that inspires and encourages them to be a better leader, okay? To be somebody who's more active in my business, active in their business, right? They're in my business, but they're not active in their business, okay? How do you get somebody, how do you create the glue in an organization to where you have leaders and there's motivated people to want to build the business? Well, partly, of course, that is they got to be making they want to be making money, and sometimes there's a little bit of a learning curve before they can get there. So they got to be able to have a roadmap to make money. There's got to be a product there that they can get excited about, at least that they can somewhat believe in. Okay, but here's the most important part, and this is, I believe, the piece that most people actually overlook, because there's so many different things in the marketplace to where it steals our attention to where it's easily overlooked, which is the connection, the relationship, in the leadership in the team. Because here's one thing that I know about people in network marketing, people in business opportunities, people in direct sales, is that they want to grow as a human being. Part of the reason why people are in your organization, part of the reason, or maybe one of the main reasons why people are in your business, in your company, is because they want to grow as people. See, oftentimes we think that it's just all about the money, that everybody wants to get rich. Not the case. Of course, people want to get rich. People want to get wealthy. But that's not always the number one reason why they're there. They want to grow as people. So how do you help people step into their best self? How do you help people become the best version of themselves? And I'm curious, leave me a comment below. What do you guys think why do you think people are in your company? Why do you think people are in your organization? What do you think the number one drive? What is it for you? What is it for you? What is the reason why you're in your business? Is it money? Is it the product? Is it that you want to grow as a human being? Okay, is it that you want to develop personally? What is it? What is it for you? No? What's the reason why you're in your company, why you're in your organization? Right? Sometimes when we take a look at our own motivations, okay, So we've got somebody who said friendships and time freedom. Interesting, right? Friendships and time freedom. We've got somebody who says association. We've got somebody who says I want to grow. We've got somebody who says I want to be somebody. So far, I don't have anybody who's saying I want to get rich. Of course, we know you want to make money. We know you want to. Look, I do too. I have financial goals as well. Somebody says my vision, right? I know you have financial goals. Health, wealth, time freedom. So knowing with a little bit of data that we can pull by taking a look, self-satisfaction, somebody said, okay? By taking a small little poll, right? We can begin to kind of understand the people who are on our team. And when we understand why they're here, now we can tap into helping them not only stick around, because one of the biggest things that I see in network marketing and entrepreneurship is that people don't give themselves a chance to succeed. So you have to either help them, sometimes they find it themselves, but sometimes you have to help them see the benefit of sticking around long enough to give themselves an opportunity to succeed. So how do you do that? Well, you've got to tap into their why. You've got to understand why they're there. And so after a small poll, and for me, why do I do this? Many of you know that it wasn't too long ago that I didn't have anything going for me. It wasn't that long. The reason why I talk about it a lot is because I never want to forget where I came from. And so where I was 8 years ago, I was somebody who was in the broken pits of despair, homeless, hopeless, addicted, at the bottom, scraping the bottom of the barrel. And I knew that just wasn't where I belonged in life. And so when I got clean and when I started to put my life back together, and I went from being homeless to having at least a couch to sleep on, and I began to the smoke started to clear a little bit, I began to see that I also wanted these same things. I had a vision for myself. I knew that my reason for being on earth was greater than to be homeless, addicted, and hopeless. I knew that I had a mess, but I know I wanted to turn that mess into a message. And so I also knew that I had all of these things that were standing in my way. Didn't have an education, didn't have credentials, had a rap sheet from drug charges and things of that nature in my life. Nothing that was fraudulent related or anything like that, just things that were related to me being homeless, right? And so I had these obstacles that were standing in my way, and I wanted to turn that mess into a message, and I didn't know how I was going to do that because traditional business, my application was put to the side. So I had the one option, that was work construction. And that was becoming, that was something that I was quickly outgrowing because I either wanted to build a construction company or I wanted to do something different. But I wanted to help people. I wanted to help people see that their struggles could also be their strengths. And I didn't even have the words for this back then. I just had a feeling that that's what I wanted to do. Can anybody relate to that? I mean, I don't know. I don't know if my reasoning is similar to yours, but maybe you're in this business because you also have that drive and that desire to have wanted to show somebody that their struggles could also be their strengths, that they could turn their mess into a message, And again, all I'm doing is I'm telling you why I'm in the business. So at first, it wasn't really even about the business or the money. It was just about that I wanted to fulfill kind of what I felt was like more of my purpose. Not that I sat around, all day thinking about what is my life's purpose, but I wanted to be more active. I wanted to fulfill my vision and my purpose and be happy and fulfilled when I laid my head on my pillow every night. And so anyways, this business opportunity came across my desk, and it became everything to me and more that I was looking for. And at first I didn't, of course, see it, right? Because sometimes the things that we're praying for, we're not able to see. But eventually I was able to see that this is exactly what I was praying for. And this business in this industry has given me that platform to turn my mess into a message, to help people, to turn my struggles into my strengths, to get on a live stream and be able to share my my secrets with you, and for you to embrace them and not judge me, right? Because it's like, most of us are kind of the weird, crazy ones anyways, who, either didn't fit into the regular mold, or we, just had that entrepreneurial spirit. Okay. And so you get that, you understand that. And so this business gave me that platform. It's given me much more too. It's given me the ability to be able to earn a sizable income, significant, more than most doctors, more than pretty much every doctor that I know, unless they're a celebrity level doctor. It's given me time freedom. It's given me vision. It's given me fulfillment. It's given me happiness. It's allowed me to stay home. I've taken a year off before. It's allowed me to stay home. I'm home right now. It's done all of these things for me and more. So, but again, finances were not my number one thing. So how do we connect with our teammates to help them, to build the relationship with them and help them to see what this business can really do for them and to help them achieve their goals? So I've got a way, and I'm going to go through this method with you. I've given you a download if you're anywhere but legendarymarketer.com/TV. Then you can go over to legendarymarketer.com/TV. There's no opt-in. You just can go and watch there and get the download that I'm going to be going through. Now I've titled this "Be a Google Hangout Master," right? But you can do this via conference call. You can do this live in person. I know a lot of people who do this live in person, but because the internet gives us the ability to connect, then we can connect with people. Tell me in the comments if you guys have teammates or people in your organization that are outside of your local area. Are there more people local, or are there more people non-local, right, who are out of town? Let me know, because I want to make sure that we're talking about the same thing here. The link again is legendarymarketer.com/TV. Okay, legendarymarketer.com/TV. So, that's why I'm saying to be a Google Hangout master. Okay. Oh, little Cecilia just got home. This is really a no-fail meeting structure that will double your team's earning potential and motivate your downline. Okay. Hold on a second, folks. I gotta. Baby's okay. Hey, baby. Hi, baby. Hey. It's okay. Hey. Okay. It's okay. Hi. Oh, you're so hot. I know. Oh, no. Say hi. Say hi to everybody. Say hi to everybody. Hi, everybody. Hi, I'm very high. No. I know. I know. It's hot. You're hot. It's hot out there, isn't it? Yes. Yes. This is Cecilia, everybody. Cecilia Jean. I know. I know. Are you just waking up? You've been sleeping in the car with mommy? Yeah? Yes. Yeah. You're probably hungry, huh? Time to eat? I know. Oh, poor baby. Poor baby. Mama's going to the bathroom. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Yeah. Hold on a second. Mama's coming back.
Sorry, I had to go to the bathroom.
There you go. Oh, I'll see you in a minute. Okay. Anyways, the joys of reality, reality live streaming. Okay, so everybody probably wants Cecilia to come back because she's the star guest. But anyways, we'll see more of her later. She only comes out for special appearances. So just to recap, let's talk about how do we connect with our team and develop leaders, right? So part of developing leaders is to actually connect with people. So I want to talk about this in terms of Google Hangouts, but again, you can do this locally with people in person. You can do this over the phone with people. The first thing that you're going to do in this quote unquote meeting, this leadership meeting, is you're going to ask everybody kind of a lead-in question. Okay, you're going to say, what's everybody been working on, right? How's everybody doing? Give us a nutshell. And I always like to do this, say, give us a nutshell version of what you've been working on inside of your business. Okay, and then, you know, if you've got 1, 2, if you've got 3 or 4 people on the line, I like to keep this to 5 or less if I'm doing a small meeting or call to where I'm connecting with leaders, right? Everybody's going to go around. We're going to take about anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes for everybody just to check in real quick, okay? They'll talk about their progress from the past week. We'll encourage them. I'll encourage them to be courageously honest. I'll remind them that this is a safe environment for them to be able to share honestly. So, because if we don't know where they're at, then I can't help them. Okay. And everybody will kind of go around and share just very briefly about kind of what they've been doing and what they've been seeing. One of the best times to do this is on Sunday night, because Sunday night gives you a genuine recap of what you've done over the past week, and it's the lead into the next week. So these are accountability leadership meetings, and I don't care how big your team is, you should be doing these, right? And you're saying, well, David, I don't know if I want to get on the phone with people and develop leaders. Well, listen, the difference between you having 100 people in your organization who are doing nothing and 1 or 2 people in your organization who are blowing out a leg is the difference between you being broke and wealthy. So I know that your favorite guru's favorite guru is talking about recruiting online without ever doing anything and just putting thousands of people, and that might be realistic. I can actually do that as well, but that's not what creates leaders. That's not what blows out an organization. Okay, a lot of these companies that you don't even know about have people earning 10 times more money than your favorite guru, and they're not even on the internet because they're doing stuff like this. So this is the difference between being an amateur who just is on Facebook all day and being somebody who's building a professional organization and developing leaders, which is more of what I favor. So again, you're encouraging people to give personal, honest, and I like to use the phrase, I'm going to challenge you guys to be courageously honest. Let me say that again. I'm going to challenge you guys, or I'm going to invite you guys to be courageously honest, okay? Because the only way that a relationship can be established is if people are honest, okay? If they're not honest, I don't know where you're at, you don't know where you're at, and we can't figure out how to get you to the next level. You're never going to want to reprimand. People don't want to be punished, and this is something that I'm big on. People don't want to be shamed. One thing that you have to remember when you're doing these leadership meetings or you're talking to somebody on your team is that everybody doesn't have the same goals as you do. And this is something that I preach this because I see so many people shaming people because they don't have, because other people are not achieving the same things that you're achieving. So in turn, what you do is shame them and say, well, you got to make more calls. You got to do more advertising. You got to follow up harder. Maybe that's not what they want. But if you could have an entire team who stuck around for 20 years and they just grew consistently, after 20 years, you would have 1 million people in your team. Whereas if you want people who are all going to do the exact same thing that you're going to do, you might only end up with maybe 10 or 20 after 20 years. I want you to think about that. That's a gold bar. That's not a nugget. That's a gold bar. I want you to think about that. Make sure that you set an environment that allows authentic communication, transparent communication. Okay. Wade, that's cute, but not cool. Obviously, leadership is about leading by example. Okay. One thing that I started to do that I didn't do before was I started to talk about my challenges and struggles. Okay. A lot of times when somebody has a team of people, they want to try to avoid the struggles and challenges that may be presenting, that their teammates may be struggling with, because if I don't talk about it, maybe it won't be real. No, that's not how it works. If you don't talk about it and people don't feel comfortable talking about their challenges with you, then they're going to go either go do something else that they think is easier, or they're going to go talk about it with somebody else, and you're not going to develop that relationship. So one way that you can not only overcome objections, and I do this a lot of time on a launch call. When somebody gets started in my team, I get them to get their team on a call, and then we launch their business, right? Or their prospects, and we launch their business. One thing that I'll always do, and I do this in all sales presentations, I do this in leadership meetings, I do this in launch calls, is I'll handle all of the objections that somebody could possibly have, or like gripes or complaints about the business, by stating them up front. So I remove that leverage that they have to, after I give this amazing presentation or after I get done talking, they kind of come in and pee on my parade by bringing up sort of this sore spot or this challenge. I just talk about that first of all. And one of the best ways that I found to do that is just talk about my struggles. And I talk about it in terms of, these are some of the things that I'm struggling with, and here's kind of how I've overcame them. And the reason why I'm excited is because the benefits and the value of where we're going and the payoff is much bigger than these challenges that are potentially, slowing me down a little bit. Huge sales psychology there too, right? If you want to sell more, stop hiding your objections, or stop hiding the things that bring the things out of your mouth that your prospect or your teammate is probably thinking about. You say it first before they say it, okay? So set an agenda, okay? Bulleted goals for your meeting, your leadership meeting. I do this on leadership meetings. I do this on kind of enrollment calls or sales calls if I'm talking to somebody. I'll set an agenda so people kind of know what to expect. I'll try to set a time schedule so people know we're going to be on for 30 to 45 minutes or 10 to 20 minutes, whatever the case may be. Talk about what we're going to discuss, right? Give them an idea so they can begin maybe thinking about it. I like to combine giving them an opportunity to think about it as well as just kind of asking them stuff so they can be more authentic. But I've moved away from just these random throw a call together, which is what I used to do, to, okay, let's be a little bit more organized so we can be more effective. If you're going to, obviously, what is one way that you develop leaders? Well, one way to develop leaders is to give them strategies and techniques to get to the next level. Okay. So one way to develop a relationship and to develop a leader is to make sure that you're giving more than 51% to the relationship. So one of the things that I like is I like having relationships with people to where I feel like I'm growing from being around them. That's what I like, right? Can anybody relate to that? I like being in relationships to where I feel like I'm growing from being around somebody. So now let's reverse that. Why is somebody going to want to be in a relationship with you? Well, based on some of the answers that we got just in some of the comments of people saying, I want to grow as a person. I want to, my reason for being in this business is I want to share my message. I want to fulfill my purpose. I want to feel good about what I'm doing. I want time freedom. Well, a lot of that, if you read a little bit more deeply into it, it's rooted in, I want to grow as a person. I want to develop personal development. So one of the best things that you can do for your team to develop those leaders is, A, you're giving them your time, right? You're giving them your time. That's establishing a relationship. 2, you're adding value to the relationship, right? So today we're going to talk about how to advertise on Facebook without being spammy. Okay. And this is some of the things that I've been doing and some of the things that I've seen people do, right? It doesn't always have to be your experience. You can tell someone else's story. Okay. But my point is that we're going to take a section in this leadership call that we're having with anywhere from 1 to 5 people, and we're going to give them something that will help them grow as a person. Okay. One of my favorite things to do is just talk about personal development. One of the biggest challenges that somebody has in this business is getting out of their own way. It's overcoming their own mindset. So you're always safe with talking about something or sharing a story about a way that you overcame your own limiting beliefs, right? What are some of the limiting beliefs that you guys have had? If you begin typing them out right now, if you kind of share them in the comments, then that'll give you an idea of some things that you can think about. And then if you can maybe take some ideas from some other people, okay, that some of the limiting beliefs that they had or that they have right now, then maybe that's some of the stuff that you can share on these leadership calls. I know this person named Jane, and Jane had this limiting belief that she didn't feel that she was worth more than the amount of money that she made in her job, which was $500 a week. So it was very difficult for her to go out there and sell and build a business that could potentially earn her more than $500 a week, because she didn't feel like she deserved more than $500 a week. She had a limiting belief around her own self-worth, right? Okay. Jessica just said that, feeling like you don't hold enough value. Somebody said fear of other people judgment. One of the biggest things that people struggle with in this business is the judgment of other people. We're in our own comfort zones of fitting into the mold that society has created for us. So it's like when it's kind of like when you post on Facebook, I got the new job, there's 500 comments and it blows up. But then when you post on Facebook, I started a new business, it's like tumbleweeds. So that's a huge deal for people, right? Is the fear of judgment. So you can talk about that, right? You can talk about that. A lot of your people who are potential big leaders, they really, the biggest thing that could help them potentially explode is to overcome their own mindset and stop caring so much about what everybody else thinks. Okay? So whether you're focusing on marketing strategies, whether you're focusing on personal development, right? There's a lot of different ideas that people are leaving in the comments wherever you're watching, right? Fear of rejection, people, dealing with haters, right? I mean, there's people won't work with you because of lifestyle choices and stuff that you make. There's a lot of different things that kind of, I think we all deal with, and these are and here's what you'd be amazed by. Your leaders or your potential leaders on your team are dealing with things that are not so different than what everyone else is dealing with. It's not a complicated thing. It's not something that you can't help with. And here's what I always want you to remember. Sometimes showing them just a little bit of understanding and compassion can go a long way as well. Okay? So edify them and give them praise. Okay? Do this on a group level first and foremost. Okay? But also do this on an individual level. If you see somebody who's working, if you see somebody who's marketing, if you see somebody who has a small success, give them some praise. These leadership accountability meetings that you can have on a weekly basis, preferably on Sunday or Monday, every single week, right, with your top leaders, it gives you an opportunity to give each leader praise in front of other people. And there's one thing, and I'm curious to know this about you guys. When you started in this business, was recognition, was that as important as money? Just being recognized as somebody who's doing a good job, as somebody who's, because golly, to be an entrepreneur, first and foremost, you have to step out of your comfort zone, right? You have to kind of do the abnormal. So having somebody in your life, maybe your family's not supportive of your business. Maybe your friends are not supportive of your business. So having a group of people, having a spouse, right? But if you don't have those things, having a teammate or a leader, which again, my whole point, and hopefully I'm getting this across, is that when you want to become a leader is when you decide to step into a leadership role. I want that to sink in for a second. I'm teaching you how to step into a leadership role. You step into a leadership role whenever you decide to. Whenever you decide that you're going to give these people recognition and praise is when you've now stepped into a leadership role. Whenever you decide that you're going to be the one who's going to stop always looking for the recognition and praise, and you're the one who's going to start giving the recognition and praise, is when you've stepped into a leadership role. I want you to think about that for a second. Okay? Somebody said, what if you have lost your way? Well, if you've lost your way, I'm giving you the roadmap to find your way, which there's one way to always find your way again. and that's to start serving people. Whenever I'm lost in my business and whenever I'm lost in life, the thing that I do is I ask myself, am I serving people right now? Am I serving people? And if I'm ever confused about what I should do, I always default back to how can I serve people? Right now, these trainings, they're completely free, right? Nothing for sale. I mean, they're completely free. Why? Because if I don't know what to do in my business, I know that I can always find my way if I decide to serve people. Okay? So you can do that too. You can step into that leadership role. You can find your way in an instant. If you just decide, hey, you know what? Until I find my way, I'm just going to serve people. And you'll find that that actually is the way. Okay? So here's the other kind of cool thing, okay? Is that these leadership get-togethers that, and you can call them whatever you want. These leadership meetings that you're doing with people, these accountability groups that you're having, either Google Hangouts, an individual face-to-face session, or you're having a phone call. This is an opportunity for you, okay, to use the group, right? Use the group. Stop thinking that leadership is always about you doing everything. Sometimes it's about you being a good facilitator, okay? Sometimes it's about you being a good facilitator. Most of the time, it's about you learning how to ask good questions. Leadership is not always about talking. Oftentimes, it's about asking and listening and giving the platform and the stage to somebody else. In network marketing, the way that you get rich is not to get on stage and stay there. It's to get on stage and then get to the back of the room and help your people get on stage. Okay? I was taught that by, I was given those words by a dear friend, John Hammock, who is a legendary leader inside of network marketing. Phenomenal man. I knew in my head that is what the formula was, but when he gave me those words, it all made sense to me. Getting wealthy in this business is about getting to the back of the room. So again, we're praising people. We're giving them recognition. Part of these leadership meetings that you're doing when you're connecting with people, whether it's one person or whether it's 5 people on the phone or a Google Hangout or a live in-person meeting, is that recognition piece, right? Stop thinking that you got to teach so much and start recognizing more, right? If you know anything about the 5 love languages, you'll know that some people feel motivated and loved by acts of service. So, and I would encourage you guys to go read that. That's going to be my book recommendation for this session. And here's why: is because the majority of people in network marketing, in my opinion, from what I've seen, are motivated by affirmations, which is mine, right, honey? Right, baby? She's awesome. Did you see how she did that? She said, "You're the best, honey." So yours is acts of service. Yours is acts of service. So my wife feels loved when I take out the garbage and cook her dinner and stuff like that, which I have a hard time boiling water, but it is what it is. Okay. So anyways, we've this gentleman here says there's 7 love languages. So I know there's at least 5 and potentially 7. So that's great. So anyways, the majority of people that I've found feel loved, feel motivated by those affirmations. So, do that more, right? It will make them feel that connection and build that relationship deeper. If you focus, talk about and this is one thing that I want to drill home to you guys, is that it's not also always about individual accomplishments. It's also about what can we accomplish as a group, right? So what is our goal as a group? Bring it about the group, because everybody wants to be a part of something, right? One way to create glue and develop leaders is to make it about something bigger than just them as an individual, right? So this is kind of a formula of what you can do and think about when you're meeting with these people. I want to give you specific things to ask and say and topics to discuss. address problem areas, and don't be afraid to give constructive, feedback. I think a lot of, for me, when I think about the people that have made the biggest difference in my life, oftentimes it's been the people who kind of pissed me off or offended me a little bit at first, so oftentimes we're kind of a little bit uncomfortable in doing that. We don't want to kind of make people uncomfortable or piss them off or whatever. We're kind of scared to hurt their feelings, but oftentimes giving somebody the truth actually will create a more memorable experience, and they may be mad right then. It may seem like they're mad, as long as you're not offensive or abrasive, but down the road, they'll really appreciate it. Okay. Give them ideas of how to change things. I'll never forget, I have, a guy who I worked with and mentored for a long time. His name's Steve Munson. And I remember he was posting on Facebook, and I told him one time, and I want you to think about how harsh this came across. I said, you're posting like a 13-year-old female in emotional distress on Facebook. That's hardcore. That can be taken very, and it was. At first he was like, what? But what happened was, because he knew I was saying it out of love, that motivated him to begin to learn how to write better. And now his posts are amazing, right? He really worked on his writing. He really worked on his emotional mastery, and he posts a lot more amazing stuff now, right? Last but not least, okay, and this is kind of where it gets fun, and this is sort of one of my favorite parts. What's your goals for the week? Okay, when I'm looking at people's and trying to help them figure out their goals, one of the beautiful, powerful things about this is that what happens is you'll find that there's competition amongst each other. Friendly, but there's a challenge, a competition that happens when people begin to hear each other's goals and dreams. Have you ever sat around in a circle with somebody or in a group of people and had people go through their goals and dreams? It's inspiring. And oftentimes, because maybe we don't have that level of, that's why it's so important to stay plugged in with people, because maybe people in our personal life, we can't have that conversation with. Maybe they don't want to talk about that, right? But if you have people on your team, you have somebody who's willing to organize this with people to say, hey, what's your goals for the week? What's your dreams for the week? What's your vision for this week? You ask somebody that question, now all of a sudden, not only do you have an opportunity to hear it, they have an opportunity to say it, and the people who are also on the call have an opportunity to hear it. And what that will do will automatically challenge them to also step in to maybe a more powerful goal, right? And it will also create more motivation and maybe even a little bit of a competitive nature, because, well, you know what? If I was going to say my goal is to bring in one new person into the business this week, but Joe said his goal was to bring in 4, maybe I'm going to say 3. Or maybe I'm going to say 4 like he did, right? So it creates that sort of friendly competition, that competitive nature, amongst people inside of your team, okay? Get specific and encourage people to get specific, right? One of the things that I've seen with people having challenges of meeting their goals, and me in the past having a hard time helping people meet their goals, was because 2 things. Number 1, people weren't specific enough, and number 2, the goal was unrealistic. It was either unrealistic, it was not big enough, or it was too big. And a lot of times, you believe it or not, sometimes people's dreams and goals can be too big to where there's, and now don't take that wrong. Somebody heard that and said, oh, my dreams can never be too big. What I mean is, if I'm asking you for a weekly goal and you say $100,000, but you've never even made 10,000, then maybe we should make a goal of saying 10,000 first. Help your people set a realistic goal and a realistic milestone so they can actually hit it. And then when they hit that, they'll feel more motivated to set that next goal. They'll feel like they actually accomplished something. Now, a lot of times when it comes to goal setting and productivity, people teach, well, what's your list for the day? My question is, what's the one thing that matters for you to do today? What's the one thing that will have the biggest impact on your life today? And everything else can wait. That one thing Let's focus on that one thing, right? Why? Well, because I know that if I focus on one thing, and if I teach people to focus on one thing, that over a course of 7 days, they could get 7 big, impactful things done, which is, I know people who have gone 7 months and not gotten 7 things done because their goals and their to-do list is too big, it's too unrealistic. So help your people set realistic goals that they can achieve, because then when you meet again the next week, guess what you have an opportunity to do? Hey, how'd that, now you have something, and write that down. You have something that when you say, hey, how's everybody doing? When you kick the call off, let's start with you, Joe. How'd that bringing 4 people into the business this week work out for you? Did you hit that goal, buddy? Well, no, but I got 3. Fantastic. Tell us a little bit else about what you've been up to this week. See, now you've got a dialogue. Now you've got a relationship, right? And this doesn't have to happen with everybody on your team, especially the 80% who's doing nothing. But for these leaders, these people who have that potential, these people who are motivated, this is the most impactful thing that you can do for them. I like to not even recruit. I love to recruit leaders, but it's not my primary objective. My primary objective is how can I develop leaders from the inside out? Most likely, you either have or have had somebody in your team that if you develop them properly, which this is one of those key pieces, they could have turned into $1 million earner. And in this business, it only takes 1 or 2 to make you wealthy. So end each meeting, end each leadership, get together with some sort of a metaphor or a story, okay? And you can get this story from a personal development book. You can get this story from somewhere else. I just want to get you in the habit of telling stories, because so many of you, I see people trying to communicate and they get lost in, trying to explain things or be a good communicator or come up with things that they need, that they, think that they should talk about. But really the only things that really stick with people, are stories. And so, so think about that when it comes time to end your meeting. So let me end this with a story. So back when I got started in network marketing, direct sales, I was basically I was beating the pavement. I'll never forget that I took a dude to a meeting, which I love live events. But I took this guy and he got started at the very smallest package. I was so excited. And this was after I had passed out a bunch of business cards and done all of this different work. And it was nobody was calling me. They was passing out my business card to everybody. And I brought this guy to this meeting. Finally, I got one, signed up at the $99 package, found out didn't even earn a commission from it. The only commission that I earned in that business was I put my dad on top of me because I said, Dad, I'm going to get you rich, man. You'll never have to work again. Well, the only thing I ever earned in that business was $2.50. We got the check. It was nice to get a check, but the check didn't do much for us. So I decided that I was going to learn marketing, right? Because I was in network marketing, and there was 2 words to that term, network marketing. I didn't know how to market. And so I knew that I needed to do some research. I needed to find some mentors. I needed to find a system that I could use that would, if I could use it consistently over the years, it would allow me to build my business better. And I didn't know what that system looked like. I just know that, I asked my now wife, hey, can I don't have any money. I don't have a credit card, right? I get a paycheck every week for my construction job. I can pay something off. Can we go buy a computer? So she gave me her credit card. I bought a $500 computer, and I started to kind of figure out, what marketing was. And over the course of some months, I developed something that I call the Simple Sign-Up System. And essentially what the Simple Sign-Up System is it's a process that allows me to build a marketing list, a database of people that even if I'm just collecting somebody's business card, and I talk to you about that, how you can even begin to build your list, even if you can't afford or have no idea how to drive a single lead into your capture page, I teach you how to begin to build your list. I give you some simple things that I used when I first got started that got me that first 25 to 50 to 100 subscribers on my email list, because now all of a sudden I've got a list that I can constantly send out promotions and talk to about my business. And I can also give them value, which will build a relationship, which will eventually help them see me as somebody who they want to work with. And then I learned how to leverage a little bit of automation. So I learned how to use tools instead of me doing all the presentations. I learned how to do the presentations in video format, okay, and have that little sales machine working for me 24/7, 365. And then instead of throwing up on people, I began to develop scripts that helped me effortlessly and easily enroll people in a way that was simple, easy, and fun for them and me. So my business didn't feel like a job. It actually felt like an enjoyable business, right? Instead of putting this all into a course, which I did put it into a course, but instead of selling it for $297, what I decided to do was give it to you for free because I think it will add a lot of value to your life. So there's a link. And if you go to this website, you can just register for this course, and it will walk you through these 5 modules to where I teach you exactly how to create, launch, and perfect what I call the simple sign-up system. And the domain for that is simplesignupsystem.com. Very simple. www.simplesignupsystem.com. What I'll even do, remember how I told you, the email contact manager, you can send out emails, right? But how do you write those emails? Remember when I told you that video, it's like, what should I put in that video? Remember when I told you that phone call, that script? Well, what does that script actually look like? What I'll even do inside of this course is I'll give you a free fast start coaching call with myself or my assistant, somebody who's highly trained and that's worked with me for a long time and knows exactly how this system works. We'll give you a fast start call, and we'll even give you those email templates. We'll give you that video script, and we'll give you that phone script, all for free. SimpleSignupSystem.com. Love you guys. Appreciate you. Have an absolutely fantastic day. I've got actually a leadership call here in a second. I'm going to go kiss Cecilia and my wife. Take care, guys.